What's up, historians? Welcome back. I am your host, Adam the Historian Ghost Hunter. We're back again for another great episode, Historically Haunted at VODCAST with a V, visual podcast. We're in season 3 right now. And just to let you guys know, season 4 is kicking off around April, and that's going to be sponsored again by Donnie Green, as it is this season. Trucker Donnie Green, actor in the Pet Sematary films. He drove the red truck that killed the baby Gage. Get the baby! Shout out to him. He's a trucker in real life. Him and his wife run Bauer Green Logistics LLC out of Florida. And also John Green Logistics Company sponsors the show. You need anything shipped or trucked, that's the ones to do it with. Don't forget, our sponsor of the week is a very special client of mine and friend of mine, Alexis Aaron at Candles by Alexis. Shout out to her. She's a couple months pregnant. She got a little baby coming again. Her and her man, soon-to-be man, Aaron, not Aaron, I'm sorry. That's her last name, Alexis Aaron. Alex Dumas, he's a good dude. Alex's photography, guided lens photography. Also clients of mine. So this is a great week. I have a special guest co-host. You guys know him. You guys love him. He's a glorious weirdo. Thomas Patrick Gormley of the Archangel of the Anarchy. Boy, I'm tongue twisted tonight. Let me have another beer to fix that. Thomas is a good friend of mine. He's a client when we spent the night together, not just me and him. Get your minds out of the gutter. But at the Salem Con, this fucking cat, Tuesday morning serial killer. Let's bring him on, this fucking guy. You want your minds blown? Shit. Thomas, what's up?
Yeah, what's up, my friend? Hopefully everybody has their spirits out. They got the cheese board ready, and we're ready to have a good time tonight.
Before I get into my guest, you were expected to be my co-host for this episode for about 3 weeks, but something happened the other day that we can kind of talk about. You want to share with the world?
Yeah, it was actually a secret for a little while. I know. So our mutual friend there, and also one of your clients, Scott Allen, the psychic medium from Boston.
Yep.
We got together and drove to Pennsylvania to film an episode of season 2 of Dark Echoes. It's going to be appearing on Amazon Prime. I don't know how long it'll be, but they're just into season 1. So it probably won't be till like next fall, coming up, almost a year probably. But I tell you, those guys with that unit there, the Dark Echoes, unbelievably professional. They have such a vision on what they want to do with the paranormal. It's so different. It's very exciting. I was excited because I really don't like to do these things unless it's real. I don't like the phony stuff, and they're as real as it gets. And that's why I agreed to do it and all that. And I'm so grateful for them for having Scott and I out. And I can't wait for you guys to all see it. But watch their season 1. Make sure you watch it. It's on Amazon Prime. It's now on Paraflix also.
Ooh. And yours is going to be season 2, episode 2, correct? 2.
Exactly. Yep.
Awesome.
I won't tell you where it was at, but we were in Pennsylvania in the middle of East Booney Land. And
you gave me a call from the hotel. You're like, guess what I'm doing? I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. So yeah, I had to call you, but I couldn't tell you what was going on. And Scott, had no idea what was going on. It's just the premise and all that. It's unbelievable. And the place that we went was very cool. And we just had a good time, hanging out and bonding on our long drive. I think the drive was like
almost hitting a deer.
Yeah, the drive was like 6 hours. So we drove through the middle. We almost hit a deer on the way.
Almost hitting a fucking deer.
Yeah, it's dark in the middle of East Booneyland, PA, and some deer was out in the middle of the road, and we almost hit it. Luckily, Scott, being a psychic medium, I think he saw it before it happened, because if he didn't say anything, I would have hit
it. He's like, swerve right. You're like, why? You're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Newest client checking in, demonologist James Anito. What's up, James?
Yeah, what's up, Timmy?
Brandon Galding, you're the fucking man, dude, moving Annabelle with me. All right, enough of all this bullshit. Enough of that's bullshit, but enough of all these. Everybody in chat, appreciate you all, but I want to get to this man. He's been waiting backstage. Tom, what do you think about John Griffin II? This dude is onto something. He's got the smarts.
I watched his pilot episode of his show that he has on.
Path of Communication, right?
Exactly, and I was blown away by it. I know he had a book out, The Paranormal Puzzle, and just how he puts things together. Very similar to how I look at things. Hey, Betsy. And I'm very interested to see how he's going and just see how many more puzzle pieces are we working on to see what we could get to with his communication. Very excited about them. Yep.
Between you and him, you guys are the scientists of this field. You guys are, fuck this, we're bringing him on. John Griffin II, bring this cat on in 3, 2, 1. What's up, John?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's going on, John?
Brother?
So, yeah, no, I'm going to apologize in advance because I am a little bit lacking a little bit of sleep. So if I say some funny things, it's for entertainment purposes only.
Awesome. And don't forget, this episode goes up on YouTube forever, guys. So if you missed anything that John fucked up on, check us out tomorrow on YouTube.
Blooper reel ahoy.
We love bloopers. It's always fun.
It's people love it. So Thomas, I usually ask the first question, but I want you, man. You got a question for our guest, Mr. Griffin?
I don't want to get too deep into it right off the bat, but I watched your pilot episode and how you were putting things together and all that, and I just really explain maybe to us that the puzzle pieces. You know, I'm very interested to know how the puzzle's starting to look and how it's taking shape for you in all your research.
So, prior to the Path to Communication, we have a series on Paraflix called Paranormal Puzzle, and the last episode we aired that we produced for Paraflix was Paranormal Puzzle Path to Communication, and that took a very different shape. And we found that we were starting to, just to give a little bit of a background story to it, we were losing sight of what Paranormal Puzzle was meant to be, which is actually a research tactic that our team uses. So we separated that and started a new series called The Path to Communication, which focused more on the emotional story behind the research. And so when we're Paranormal Puzzles is very broad in a sense. It doesn't just include spiritual activity. It brings a lot of different elements of the unknown and the known into it and tries to connect everything. So one of the things that we were looking at, like that, I know I introduced the spirit box that I was using that Rick Perry developed. And there was a reason for the design specifically. If you notice, there's no cover on it. And one of the big things for me is that I need to be able to measure things. And with the spirit boxes, I wasn't able to measure and get statistics and identify trends and all that. So I kept the cover off. That way, in the future, I could start looking. I could see the frequencies and see them flipping through. I could start to look at where we're getting intelligent responses from, if there's any trends within there, so I could start identifying and start to bring that down to a potential specific line of frequencies within the AM or FM spectrum. So that's the design and we don't show a lot of that within like the series, like talking about it, because a lot of people tend to kind of sway away from hearing all the technical sides of things. But we hope that it actually sparks the interest. So that's where we are with the spirit box portion of it. We didn't show much of the EVP portion of it in that, but we did more in the Paranormal Puzzle series. That's been leading us down in direction of sound waves, looking at the acoustics of the environment. We've actually found some trends that if there's good acoustics in the environment, there's an increase in Class A and Class B EVPs. There's actually, and now we're actually evaluating the Class A, Class B, Class C, because right now Class A, Class B, Class C is pretty much defined not so much on a measurement term. It's more of how much edit or how much cleanup do you really need to do? How much can you hear? That's not very measurable. So I started looking at this as, well, if I look at Class A's and I look at what we're defining as Class A's, Class B's, Class C's, is there a certain decibel to Class A's and Class B's and Class C's? Is there a certain frequency? And the other portion of that, are we taking into consideration our own hearing? Because a Class A for me back 10 years ago may be a class B for me now, based off of losing some of that, the hearing range starting to shrink. There's so much I could go into, because I know there's Project Apparition Hall, and I could just go on.
John, because the thing you hit on, I was waiting for you to say it, was decibel level. Me being, I was a professional musician. I was a demo singer. I sang in Nashville for quite a few years. And one of the big things for me, I'm actually hearing impaired. I'm deaf in one ear, so I don't hear things the same way as other people. Mm-hmm. So I'm very dependent on watching the waves, your frequencies, your decibels, to be able to pick up. If I do get an EVP, what decibel level is it at? As I'm writing these things down and picking up, those types of things to write down and be able to help my client, I need to know what decibel level these things are at, how they're coming through. And what excites me is what you're talking about, because, a lot of people don't want to talk about that side of things. They always say, paranormal is just pseudoscience. But, we have to create a science to be able to prove, which everybody wants answers. Like, yourself, you really got into this, more, as you said, over a tragedy. And you wanted to dive in and get answers. We all want answers. And the only way we're going to do that is think outside the box, like you're doing, like, with the puzzle, with everything like that. And with the research that you're doing, it is research. It isn't just running out, getting some footage and then uploading on Facebook and going, great, I got a whole bunch of hits and all this other stuff. That's not what it's all about. What you're doing right now is so important. And that's why we're so excited to talk to you.
That's the difference, yeah.
And I appreciate that. And I'm glad that you brought up the looking at the decibels and such, because it's there's so many different measurements. Talking with there's someone else that I've been talking to, Lauren Hellickson. I hope I pronounced her last name right.
She's fantastic at what she does. She really knows the stuff behind it. She looks at the equipment and how it reacts with the paranormal, just like you're doing. Those are the most important people in the paranormal right now. We're going into a new era here in 2024, and I think things are changing, and we're trying to find answers. And I think a lot of people are going to start gravitating towards that. I just have a feeling about it.
I agree. Lauren and I were actually just discussing this on Facebook today, saying we're feeling a shift, and it's a very good shift. And I had the tragedy with my brother, which was it's going to be going on 3 years this July. I'll tell you, there are points where I literally, it feels like that day, and it's 3 years later, and I'll just break down and such. But for me, it started when I was 4, and I lived a very sheltered life, not by choice, and it wasn't from my parents. My parents have always been supportive. It was me speaking about my experiences, because my brother and I lived in a haunted house in our childhood. I spoke about it publicly, and what ended up happening was there were people that said that there were parents. One specific parent, obviously, I'm not going to go into names or anything like that. This was forever ago. They told their child, who was my friend, to stay away from me because I was satanic. And that started getting the ball rolling, because I didn't know what dead people were. I didn't know what ghosts were. Well, I knew it. I was so young. I didn't know what ghosts were. I'd never heard of the term. So I referred to them as disappearing people. I was a child. My innocent mind thought it was a person with a superpower, but why are you in my house? And well, because I talked about this, the parents understood it. And then it followed me throughout my school career. And then it followed my brother. My brother was guilty by association because, that's the crazy person's brother. That resulted in both of us going into depression at a very early age. There was so much confusion, because then people were telling me ghosts don't exist. All ghosts are demons. And I'm like, what am I supposed to believe? I feel like I'm alone in all this. And it just kept on snowballing from there to the point that, and I'll just reveal it's actually public. Anyway, at age 16, I actually tried to end my life. And I'm glad I didn't, because seeing the impact of my brother who took his life, I would never wish that pain on him or anybody else. And it's unfortunate that I have to watch my parents go through this. But the paranormal played a huge role in this. And even in the suicide note, there was a strong indication, because my brother and I were very close. The things that he wrote, I was like, this was partially because of the paranormal. And I started blaming myself. I started, and even to this day, I still kick myself. Because it's like, well, what if I never spoke? What if I never said this when I was a kid? This may never have happened. So, and Jeremy and I, we researched the paranormal together. We were very scientific, very close. It's like I've lost a huge piece of me. And, I crave those conversations we used to have. We used to drive up to Wildwood Sanitarium, 5-hour drive, and Jeremy and I would talk, and we would start discussing research. There were points that we were both researching the same thing, and then we never knew it, and we were coming down the same road, just in two different paths, and somehow we met. And by the time we were done talking, we were at Wildwood Sanitarium.
Dude, you guys were best friends. Best friends.
Yeah.
Brothers are best friends, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? And I just want to say that he's proud of you. I think a lot of people are. And I know a lot of times you get frustrated. You don't get the support you deserve. And I think you need, as far as financially and Patreon, all that shit. But you're doing great things, John. So many people think so highly. Brooke loves you to death. Brooke and Zach think you're fucking amazing. When I get to meet you at the Warren Con, dude, right off the elevator, I stepped up this John's mug. I go, give me a hug. Remember that in Mohegan Sun? And then fucking Thomas Patrick brings me to the fucking casino and buys me a drink. I go, oh, these are my people. These are good people here, man.
I was blown away. I was completely shocked. I didn't even. What are the odds that you and I would literally meet out of all the levels in the garage, and we would at this huge place, and we met at the exact same time? I just randomly decided, you know what? I'm going to head towards the front of where this entrance is, and I bumped right into you.
I was saying, where the fuck were you going? Because you turned around and walked with me. You weren't going anywhere, I don't think.
What was the other thing here? With the support and stuff, you know what? I've worked so hard in the field, and I continue to do it. And because the way I'm looking at it is, maybe in this lifetime, the work may be looked at as kind of more on a smaller scale, but I'm viewing it as, well, at least I'm planting seeds. So if it doesn't blossom before my time to go, at least I've left something for someone, and I hope they can use whatever it is.
That's what you and Thomas do. You guys educate people. You guys, you're not just in it for the glitz and glam and the Zach Bagans and the necklaces and sunglasses. You're not in it for those reasons, dude. And I'm not trying to knock anybody. You want to go be a fucking pretty boy, Floyd, go do it. But I mean, I'm into the real scientific people. Everybody's checking in too. We got some friends here checking in, saying hello to John.
Tammy.
Says hello to Patrick. Then say hello to me. We're newly friends on Facebook. Sean Orienteo is loving this conversation.
Yeah.
Alexis, our sponsor, there's a shift happening. Alexis. She says she's soon to be
guys,
mother again.
I want to share something. I want to share something with you guys. I think the camaraderie with you, John, is very important, because I just want to let you know, it's hard for me to say this, but my mom took her own life. And so I feel what you feel. And, I think in 2012, she did that. I've been in the paranormal since probably 85, and don't want to date myself. But really, I dove back in to get answers even more after she passed, kind of similar to when your brother, left this world. And, my whole thing is to get answers for others. And my path is to heal other people that gone through this type of tragedy. The way I approach things is on a psychological level, that type of science, which is still, the mind is unprovable. I do have a background in law enforcement. I worked in a psychiatric prison. I learned how to profile these people to keep everybody safe in the region for crisis management. And, I took on the hobby of profiling, serial killers, but the psychology behind a lot of it is even the paranormal. Part of the puzzle that you talk about, I really think that a lot of paranormal happenings are due to trauma and people not being able to get over the trauma properly. And that's where we come in. Sometimes, you have to heal the living, but also the dead. The dead, sometimes they lose their shell and they still have trauma that you have to heal for them to be able to give them the words to make a decision if they want to move on or if they want to stay, if they're still happy here. It's such a crazy thing that we do. And really, from what you talked about in your book and stuff like that with frequencies and things like that, I think we're all connected by frequency, electrical, water. We're all made of water and just electric and water. And reading that information when I was doing my research, and it hit me that there's so many different things, and there's so many missing puzzle pieces that you talk about to make the image come to life. And I think once the image gets bigger, we learn everything every day. Because I tell you, the stuff we know now was a lot different back in when I got into this in '85. And I talk about it all the time. The paranormal right now is like doctors were many, many years ago when they thought bloodletting would cure people. We laugh about that now, but we're learning every day. There's parts of our brain we don't use and how they work and how it projects things and how we take things in. I think, the paranormal, we just don't understand it yet. And for some of the things, the groundbreaking things that you're doing, John, is very important because you have to do things over and over again. You got to try different things. You got to come up with these different things. Because if you don't, we're going to be standing still and we're just going to have a bunch of people on TikTok just trying to get views. So we need to go forward.
And it's funny that you mentioned the law enforcement part because I did leave my career in pursuit of just paranormal last July, and I was a security lieutenant for a level 1 trauma center. Part of the skill set, because I worked with a lot of law enforcement, I dealt with Secret Service, FBI, police, all that, and I got educated more on statistics, analysis, standard deviation, all that type of stuff. And so I actually, anything that I could take, I found I could take from, the law enforcement security field. I was able to bring it into the scientific portion of it while researching how, the scientific methods and all that type of stuff. So it was very interesting how because I ran what was called the Training and Intelligence Division. So part of my job was collecting intelligence and trying to find threats to the institution. And then also collecting intelligence about the education portion of it on how we can improve, be more proactive, and then educate our entire department. So I brought a lot of that experience into the paranormal as I was learning things. And for a lot of what we've been doing, we started data collection long before my brother passed. And a lot of the stuff, because he was more of, and this is why there's so much missing. He did a lot of mathematics. He was very good with developing physics-related equations and such. And like he built computers for fun. I mean, the guy was an all-out genius.
Yeah.
And he was self-taught too when it comes to that. He did some things with statistics. For me, I look into the numerology portion, but I also am very big into statistics, probably more so than he was. So when you combined us together, we were essentially an unstoppable force.
Powerful.
We were in our area. We were referred to as we were the equivalent of like the Wright brothers. We were just referred to as the Griffin brothers.
Yeah.
And in my eulogy, I said that we will always and forever be the Griffin brothers. That's literally how I ended my eulogy. And it seems like from the research, what I'm finding is that he's been helping from the other side. And he's been in so many different ways. And I've been taking the hints because if there truly is intelligence, like behind, there's these, if there's really consciousness after death, then Jeremy would potentially maintain the memory and understand that if you want me to truly believe that this is you and that you have intelligence and that, we can work together on this, my standard of proof. And he was actually meeting my standard of proof on so many occasions that it came to the point that it was just like, at this point, how am I going to argue this?
Fate. That's fate, brother. It's
a lot of it, if you look at the side of it, I approach things as the psychological, but there is proof, I always say it, love never dies. Mm-hmm. You have this love for your brother, and it's proven they're always around you. I did interviews with a lot of hospice nurses, mm-hmm. and how when people are passing, their loved ones always come to them that guide them. Who's to say you don't have to be dying for them to be around you? That power of observation that we go through as law enforcement officers, fellow brothers here, mm-hmm. and how we observe things and look at things differently in the world. And yeah, we take statistics, we put things together and all that, and we want to know for sure and be able to debunk if things are wrong and come up with a solution so we could go forward with what we're trying to do. What is it between that cover of the veil, as we're trying to get those answers? It's so mind-boggling. And again, John, reading some of your stuff and all that, you're on the right path. And I'm, grateful to be able to talk to you tonight. And I just hope more people look at things that way. I think it's very important right now at this point of the paranormal.
I agree.
I'm gonna say that I'm presuming you're referring to Science Beyond the Veil.
Yes.
Yeah. It's funny because I posted saying that I was actually embarrassed of that book. In comparison, I've got a new book coming out called Paranormal Puzzle: The Illuminated Loners. It does mm-hmm. involve the story of my brother and I, and it's also going to reveal the advancement of a lot of the research that was in there. Because we've come a long way. It's like once we started identifying trends, that's when it started taking the numbers were guiding me down specific paths, and it started opening up new doors. And that's where all this further outside the box thinking came, because it's just the numbers it made me head down to different paths, looking up different videos and other reading material about different physics related elements, like different about even trying to apply specific things about shadow figures. We have Project Apparition Hall, one of our big experiments that is continuously advancing. We went from, statistically, we used to get, when we did regular photos, 700 to 900 photos on average before we would actually see something that could potentially be paranormal related. When we went to long exposure photography, the average amount of photos was 250 to 500. That was my brother who did that portion of it. To put that in perspective, when it comes, I'll do that right after. With Project Apparition Hall, it's been about 100. I believe it's about 100 to 150 photos. Now, when those are huge numbers that seem to drop. When you put it into a percentage perspective, it doesn't seem like it's that incredible, because the first numbers I gave go right back through. The first would be 0.14% chance of getting something. With the long exposure, it went up to 0.4. And now at the highest with Project Apparition Hall, we're at 1.8%. So it's going up. We're heading in a direction, but now we're taking Project Apparition Hall into a different, into some different studies. And we've been doing a lot of study on how light works. And different ways of like manipulation and how does it affect this type of environment on this type of material, and then we're doing comparisons between what we're seeing in apparition photos, apparition videos. So our research isn't necessarily what we just get. There are points that we are looking online, trying to see what other people are finding, and trying to see, first off, is it matching what we're getting? And, but we also know that we risk that some of that stuff may not be accurate. Like it may not actually be paranormal. And, so we have to be very careful of that. But a lot of this stuff has continuously led us down specific paths. And Project Apparition Hall is very new. It started before my brother died. With his long exposure, he caught an apparition that was just mind-blowing because we were trying to document the manifestation process. That was the whole purpose behind the long exposure photography, is since it's taking in all that light, like when we did with the laser, how he was doing things with the laser, and you could actually draw out where the starting point was to where the lens closed. So Jeremy and I, when we were talking about it, we're like, well, if that's the case, we should be able to take a picture, and if the apparition is moving, we should be able to see it, see the pattern of when it enters this, the lens, so to speak, the area, and walk out or stop. If it manifests, maybe we could actually see it expand, or how the manifestation, we could actually track it. So that was the goal with the long exposure, is to try to document that. And then, of course, we were going for 3D photos, so that we were trying to do, which we didn't successfully do. We were still in the beginning stages of it, where we were, you see apparition photos where, you got the one angle, and here's this apparition. Well, what if we managed to take a picture from multiple different angles, and we managed to get multiple, like a 3D image of an apparition? Looking at mass and density, because that's another thing we wanted to look at, was their mass and density. Yeah.
But John,
you go fucking hard, dude. You're like the Egon Spengler of the field, bro. Seriously, most weekend warriors just want to go have some Skittles, take some selfies, and fucking leave. And then there's people like you that want to goddamn know where your brother is. Like, I want to know where my mom is. Alexis lost her brother. Yeah. Her sibling lost as well. She can feel the grief. So you're looking for your dude, John. You guys follow John, follow his pages, his Patreon. Help this brother out, because he's what this field is fucking about, not bullshit. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm listening to you, dude, and I'm getting like a paranormal boner because I'm just excited because you're talking fucking good lingo here on me. I'm like, this cat's like, we're not just talking about pizza parties and fucking jelly beans. Like, this is real. I like that. I much respect, dude.
So John, we talk about light. How you're talking about light and all that. How do you perceive light? For me, I perceive light, as Albert Einstein said, is light is time. How do you look at that?
I've been more of studying it more on the I'm trying to think of what there was a specific video and specific experiments that they were doing. I was trying to, because there was the debate of whether they're I think it was particle and frequency. Mm-hmm. That's more of what I've been focusing on, because I know there was the experiment that it almost had conflicting related stuff. So that's what I've been personally looking at. I know there was the time portion of it, which honestly I haven't looked too much into, but I've been looking at more of the different color spectrums, which kind of led me into the shadow figure realm. Because it made me, and here's the question I've been asking, and this happened when we were at Wilson Castle,
Proctor, Vermont.
Yeah, it's such a great place.
We're there in September.
Never been, but Hey, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
That's my fucking night off. Fucking.
I hope I'll try not to reveal too much for you since you're going there.
Yeah.
So the place was all dark. I'm not going to say where. Well, it's on Paranormal Puzzle, but just be forewarned. If you watch Paranormal Puzzle on Paraflix, it's this story's in there. So there was a shadow figure that myself and one other person saw. And the shadow figure, the place was pitch black where we were. We were able to see that shadow figure in the pitch black in another room. And both of us saw exactly where it went. And that's it made me think to myself after all this time going, well, wait a minute. We're focusing a lot on this light and absorption because we're studying the lens and such. We know that the lens is bringing in light and such. So if that's the case, with the shadow figures, when I looked up looked up, for instance, black, because typically shadow figures are typically, black. Not all, but that's the typical description that we usually get. And that's what I saw was something that was, I would say, blacker than black. And if ghosts fall under what we're leaning towards of being light energy, then according to here's where drowsiness come in. Okay. I know what I want to say, and it's here, and it's not coming here.
Did you do that shot, or did I, John? Hey, real quick, look who's saying hi. Katie Peak, hello.
Katie.
Your partner in crime, Irene from Paranormal. What's going on, ladies? You had a brain fart, John. You're retired. It's good. Take your time, brother.
It's okay, John. I just want to tell you something. I've had this theory for a while. Mm-hmm. It's always hard to prove, but Einstein says that light bends. Mm-hmm. And there's the bend to the light, and there is also the theory that time is relative. So they could have the past, the present, and the future on the same timeline frequency as we call. As you're going forward, if light bends, who's to say that if these frequencies or our timelines are all the same, who's to say that the past doesn't bend into our now or the future doesn't bend into our now? But what happens when light hits you? What do you put onto the ground? A shadow, shadow figure. Yeah. So, who knows? It's something trying to manifest from another time. That's where you get residual. So I don't know. The best way to describe is, I don't know if anybody's ever seen the movie The Others with Nicole Kidman.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen it. See that movie. Boy. That says what I'm talking about right now, and how the past and the present and each other doesn't know that they're not on the same timeline. They don't realize it. They just think, wow, what's going on? So there's that confusion. It's the confusion we have now with the paranormal. But maybe we're all on the same timeline, because I really firmly believe that when we pass, we don't have watches anymore. We don't know what time it is. I've had situations where I've had spirit energy come to me. It's hard to really put into a scientific method, but, I am an empath. I do feel energies and all that. And I've had things come to me like a week in advance, and the next thing I know, I have a client calling me, hey, can you come to my house and check this thing out? And I go there, and I feel the same energy I felt the week before. Like it came to me to size me up. It's hard to put that into a scientific side of it. The paranormal is so confusing sometimes. Like you said, there's so many different puzzle pieces.
Sometimes
how we put them together.
We choose to be into this crazy field, and all it is a mindfuck every fucking day.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. I know I might be tired too, but Jesus,
Real quick, Katie Peak says, "Hi, partner. Katie, check your messenger. I sent you the link. If you want to jump on, girl, come on. There's a spot for you here. And Jim Brown, Tombstone Paranormal. Hey, you handsome motherfuckers. What's up, Jim? He's also part of he's a client too. He's part of the family. You guys are both part of Historically Haunted Book and LLC. So is Jim and his wife Dawn. Tombstone Paranormal. Stowe, Maine, right next to New Hampshire. He does a lot of cemetery work. Jim, if you don't know John, Jim's scientific too. Jim, I think you'd really dig John's studies. That's what I was sharing a minute ago. Was his dude, John's got so much, but I love it. I was sharing real quick this is his baby. I love this. Path of the Paranormal, the communication. That's with Katie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Of course, yeah. I don't want to cut you off, dude, but I got to talk about your baby right now that's blowing up. You're signing vendors left and right. Let's talk about the I don't want to call it a Paracon because it's not. It's a meeting of the minds that you're doing here at Rose Union Community Building in Rose, New York. Let's see, January, March, April, May 4th, right?
May 4th, yep.
Paranormal Labs putting it on. So what do you like, dude? That's your baby, right? Let's talk about that bad boy.
Yeah, and my mind is actually, if I could just back up just a little bit.
Yeah, it's your show. Do it.
So, firstly, with I actually saw a video where they had two. I think it was like the light particles or something like this. Excuse my wording, but where they were actually trying to get it to communicate with one that was from, two different times. Or it was something really out there. Anyway, the shadow part actually just kind of clicked back in. The question I was asking is
that's Alexis. That's our sponsor. Sorry, that's our candle. I love my joints with my yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, John. We're listening.
The shadow figure is like, okay, if we're falling under the light energy, hypothetically, okay, let's just go with that hypothetically. Then according to what I've seen with light, then light or black cannot be the color, because black, as what it says, is black is the absence of visible light. Now, when I looked up the definition of visible light, because I wanted to understand what does that term mean scientifically, it means the visible spectrum. Visible light is our visible spectrum of what our eyes are capable of registering.
What our eye, right.
Yeah. So then my question ends up being for the shadow figure, well, if it's black and black can't be a color of light, and does that mean that it's actually outside our visible spectrum, and therefore what we're seeing is something with a, and I'm probably messing up these two different words, so I just use them both. The mass and density, we're seeing something that has mass to it. Our eyes are able to see it, but our eyes are unable to register the specific color because it's outside of our frequency range. This is a question I've been kind of opposing, and it's a newer question within the past. I started asking more about it at the end of, or the beginning of last year, end of 2021. Yeah, so sorry. I know I was going to go into the paranormal, but I wanted to get that thought out real quick.
No, dude, I got ADHD too. I'm all over the fucking place. It's your show. I talk a lot for me, honestly. But dude, you're a thinking man's man. There's nothing simplistic about there's nothing simple about you.
Got it. John, I just want to tell you, has your making your mind go through why it's black is black, absence of light and all that. Mm-hmm. But really, you look at it, why is our shadow so black? When the sun hits us, our bodies, and we look down on the ground, and it's black as black.
Yeah.
The light is bending on us. The light hits us. It's almost like it's a person on the other timeline, and the light hits, it bends us into a different time zone. We don't know. It's hard to quantify. But yeah, the light could hit you, and as you block it, it creates that shadow that you see. We see it on a daily basis.
If you took mushrooms or LSD before the show, you're welcome. Oops.
Oh, welcome back.
There we go.
We're switching around again. I didn't do that. It wasn't
It's the
me.
government. The government's watching us.
Um,
Alexis says there's much science behind the paranormal. Some of the big-time ghost hunters, entertainers, really have painted the paranormal field in a comical light. It's true. I don't think it's fair at all. They're legitimate people doing amazing work in the field. Like John, thank you, Alexis. Another client of mine is working on the book. She's a candle maker. She's pregnant. She makes her own incense, and this girl knows what the fuck is going on for a young chick from Derry, New Hampshire, not Derry, Maine, not Kingville. But, oh, Rachel King checking in. Look what I got in the mail today. Rachel King's wedding invitation.
Sweet.
Thanks for checking in.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
That's cool.
Awesome.
That your Paranormal Academy. I wanted to get back to your.
Yeah, please do, because I guess I got a billion questions for you. We're going over an hour. I'm sorry, we have to. You're fucking phenomenal. Go ahead.
This person's weird. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't
make fun of my friend.
the Your Paranormal Academy event that we're doing, it's actually a 3-day event. It's May 2nd to May 4th. The 2nd and 3rd is going to be a digital event for 4 hours. For each of those days, from 4:30 to 8:30, there's going to be some digital classes, as well as a kind of an orientation for those who want to attend the in-person one, to give them a general idea of what's going on. May 4th is the live event. Now, when I was going into looking at developing a paranormal type of event, I've always been a big instructor. I mean, hence training and intelligence division. I've always been in that. But the big thing is that I wanted an opportunity for us to be able to also advance the research in the process. So we have Research Hall, for instance. Research Hall is going to be like the equivalent of the school projects, where they have different banners or different things where people can go by and look, see what different people or what different, what types of research everybody's doing, what are their findings, which hopefully will help their research. The students who register to be a student are also going to get an evaluation related form, where there's going to be different categories, and we want them to evaluate, and we're going to have something there too in Research Hall, and we're going to want to be evaluated too. We want to see what people think about the research and learn ways of how we could potentially improve as well. So we're also trying to bring in professors and scientists. We're inviting them to come out as well.
You're well-rounded, though. You just got Anna, who does her psychic stuff. Anna, readings by Anna G. Yeah. You got a Will. I mean, but like you say, it's not your typical Paracon, John. No. What you're talking about sounds like an educational type of thing. Am I right?
Yes, it's going to be the main attraction is going to be the classes themselves. And I'm being very picky as to who are going to be the instructors. And we've already announced, aside from myself, there's also Lauren. Lauren, before I even approved her to be on it, we had a 3-hour Zoom call.
Wow.
And it was more of, there was getting to know. And of course, we went off on a tangent because we found we were very like-minded. But then there were also, and I like to, rather than do messenger and stuff like that, I like to talk to the person, because this person's going to be standing in front of people. They're going to be representing the Your Paranormal Academy event. They're going to be representing the paranormal field. And I want the paranormal field. If we get professors and scientists come in and they sit in on any of these lectures, we need people who are very positive, forward-thinking people to really step in. And we're going to be releasing a registration form for other people that may want to teach, but it's going to be under the understanding that not everything's going to be approved, and we have very qualifications for it.
Well, yeah, it's not just you're not doing this for money or for shit show. You're doing this so people can all learn from each other. And shout out to Lauren. Lauren was one of my first clients. She actually bowed out because she's got some personal shit or whatever. I love Lauren still very much. She's actually on the Cryptid Paranormal show with my other client, Ray Gooseby. Right after this at 8:10, she's their guest tonight. And
Hashtag shut up.
Hashtag shut up, fuckers. And also, real quick too, yes, Brooke and Zach Preitzel, and of course Lori Ann, the mother, who I met with you at the convention right in front of Josh's table with the Wildwood Sanatorium. You're kind of part of that family. They think very highly of you, John. I do too, man. I tell you, I'm not going to say I love my clients like in order, but honestly, you and Thomas are two of my favorites. I want to go to bat for you, and I want people to donate to your Patreon. I want people to go, and like you said, for people that are historically haunted booking members, get a little bit of a deal if they go to this. You've actually signed a couple. You signed John Curry from New Era Paranormal. I'm going to try to make this. I'd love to go and support you, and I'm going to share the shit out of it, man. Fucking. Do you stop, John? I got to ask you real quick. Do you do anything in your personal time? Do you go to the park or ride a bike or watch movies, or do you just literally fucking paranormal 24/7?
So, well, part of the reason I left my job is because I felt like with the paranormal, it needed my undivided attention. I wanted to know from my own personal ability, what am I capable of if I have 24/7 focus on paranormal research versus going to a job? And there was a point where after my brother killed himself, when I came back, the first day I came back and I sat in my office, I was like, what is the purpose of me being here? That was my first thing I did.
You pulled yourself. You debated with yourself. Was it worth it? Yeah.
Yeah. And I decided that I inevitably was going to leave. Now, what do I do personally? The problem is that I love different things. I love different sports, and I used to play basketball. I loved paintball.
I didn't know that.
I did bowling.
Fun.
I
didn't know that, John.
I don't have the equipment anymore, but because I have no one to paintball with. But
no CO2s, huh?
My big thing is I'm a huge Nintendo fan. I've always been a Nintendo fan. But I found personally that I've been losing a lot of that interest because of what happened with Jeremy. A lot of that stuff I shared with him, especially Nintendo. We were multiplayer. We used to watch trailers, different game trailers together. We played multiplayer together. We were both the big Legend of Zelda fans, Resident Evil, Mario. And we did all this stuff together. I mean, I remember when we were kids and teenagers, my father and I and Jeremy, we used to play Mario Kart.
Dude, my mom played hours, man. Fucking Mario Kart. Isn't that in the link? I'm sorry to cut you off. That just hit me hard. I love it. You get them 3 red shells and you're king for a day.
and that notorious.
It's a healing thing, John. I really feel, man, just get back into it. Those are those attachments that you had with your brother.
Yeah.
And I think that as we're going forward in the paranormal, when you do things that you shared in the past, I think it helps you go forward sometimes. It helps you heal. You got to do those things and get back into it. That's maybe just a suggestion I have to heal the trauma, as you work. I know people still work their way through their trauma. It takes a lifetime sometimes.
John, you're one of the strongest cats I know, dude. And to answer your post from earlier, you could do both. You could be a speaker. You could be a lecturer. Christ, dude, you could be a stripper. I'm going to pay money for whatever you do, John. I don't give a fuck.
People are going to be paying to have my clothes put back on.
Fuck you. See, you're bullshit because you're really you do have a little bit of not self-loathing, but you don't have that a tiny little bit of confidence. I'm buzzed now, and I'm your fucking agent, so I can say that. But I'm going to get you out of your fucking shell. People, donate to this dude on Patreon. Help this cat out because he's finding answers for all of us. He's not finding answers for just him and his brother. These answers are going to be for everybody that's lost someone, which is fucking everyone. I lost my mom. I lost my dad. Everybody loses someone. All right. So what you're doing, John, and I mean this, it's a fucking service. It's not just, you're not just doing this to go. Like, I love history. I love when people check things out. I love Stephen King, all that bullshit, wrestling, whatever. But when it comes down to it, man, I fucking cry every day about my mom. I'm up here 3 hours away from my girlfriend, Heather. I live in Mount Katahdin, Maine. 45 minutes from Bangor, 45 minutes from Mount Katahdin, the Appalachian Trail. I'm alone for a week straight, and I work my ass off, and I miss my fucking mom, dude. And I cry about my friend Bill, who died of cancer. I don't watch football anymore because my mom and Bill were Bills fans and Cowboy fans. Fuck, I know what you're saying. And I see you post every day visiting Jeremy, a bottle of wine next to his grave. You live with your brother every fucking day. I said his name, Jeremy. That's the right name, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm buzzed. I don't want to say the wrong thing. But I don't want, and I'm not trying to cut you off, but I don't want you to have any shame. You're making him proud, and you're doing everybody a fucking service, man. Keep it going. You need to be a speaker, and you need to be a lecturer, period. You know you're good.
I'm done. I love the paranormal field. Like, I mean, I know, I do, there are points that there's, and here's the thing. I do controversial things. There are times I say controversial things. The paranormal field, I know in the past, I've been a victim of that whole paranormal, I call it the paranormal mob or paranormal gang, where, oh my goodness, he's doing this. How dare he? Everybody go after him. First off,
you Frankenstein. Everybody comes out with torches. Burn them. You know what I mean, Tom? They pick people out, man.
Yeah.
And I didn't go anywhere because I don't give a shit about that. Let's be real. To me, it's junior high school bullshit.
Thank you.
I'm in it for the mission, and the mission could have a huge impact on society, and I'm not going to be bullied out of the field because people don't like the way I may do something or something that I may say or something like that. People need to realize this. Yes, I may do things that may get me hated, or at least temporarily, but they should understand that my mentality is that I'm always thinking about the positive that this could bring to the field. And I don't want people to hate me in the field. I know it comes with a consequence when you think controversially, but it is what it is. But the paranormal field should know that, I love the community. I really appreciate, people really trying to put the work in, and that I do all this stuff for the love of everybody in the field, as well as scientific community and the, people who have lost people, and just society as a whole. People have no idea how much of an impact this could really have. Think about it. You prove, let's say hypothetically, tomorrow, you prove that consciousness truly exists when you die. Let's say hypothetically we find out there could be consequences, of how you lived your life. How would that change society tomorrow? What would the laws look like? How would governments react? Even let's go into, medical field. How would that be impacted? I think about this all the time. And that's why I'm very careful when I present things. I present things in a very unbiased manner. Because, and this amplified, especially when my brother died, because there's a sentence he wrote in the suicide note that haunts me. And the one thing that I say that I've gotten concerned about is that, let's say I like one of us or the paranormal field or whoever proves that the existence of consciousness exists after you die. Could that increase the suicide rate? Like, if you don't know if there's consequences and you're like, well, at least I know I don't have to deal with life anymore. Screw this. And then you're out. This is where, for me, the research gets real, because I have to look at the pros and the cons. I've got to look at how I present this, because I don't want people to head down this direction. Jeremy wrote a sentence in here, and it's in the Path to Communication episode. John will be in touch. I promise. I know my brother, and a lot of people typically go, well, John, that's so great because he was thinking about you, that he would reach out to you. There's more to that. Jeremy and I have ways of communicating. here's how I translated what he said. John, all the research that we did together, we've learned so much that there's undoubtedly an afterlife. So I know when I pull the trigger, I'm going to come and talk to you. The paranormal, and I've had to say to him, it's not a fact. You pull the trigger, that's it. And you don't know if you're truly going to close your eyes for the last time.
That's a fact. We don't know. You're right. I mean,
and that's what scares me. And
John,
and I have to say for Tom, Tom, right? Okay. Your name's even right on the screen. Yeah.
He's had a lack of sleep. He's had a long day, folks. Fuck off.
That's okay, man. We're working through this. I mean, we're building some other pieces just by conversing, because I've never talked to you before. I'm hoping that you and I meeting today helps you put a little bit more of the puzzle together, and with my knowledge, with my experience, with Adam's experience and all that, that's what we do. We put things together and try and help each other. And that's why I'm glad we're on this podcast tonight, because maybe other people that are watching right now, they're putting the puzzle pieces together also. Just learning, educating.
Puzzle pieces.
You know? So it's
and I think that's what it needs to be. I think that's what bonds you. Like you said earlier, was it John that said it or Thomas? Someone said there's a shift changing, and someone in the comments agreed. Heather even said
both of us.
Tide turning. You both did. That's right.
I mean, I wanted to bring up one thing because I mean, the thing that you said, Tom, it really touched me about your mother, because and I'm really sorry for your loss on that. I mean, thank you.
God bless.
The one thing watching, I mean, first off, it was my father that found Jeremy.
Oh my God.
But my mother, it's been because Jeremy, my mother and I, we were all diagnosed with severe depression. I got really scared for her. There was a point, and I'll tell you when Jeremy, the day that Jeremy killed himself, I was awake for 48 hours straight, and I didn't even know it. I kept on referring to, on Thursday and Friday, I kept on referring to it because it happened on a Wednesday. I kept on referring to Thursday and Friday as Wednesday. And finally someone said, John, it's Friday. And I was like, no, it's not. And they go, yeah, it's Friday, John. And I was like, oh shit, I've got to sleep. And then my body shut down. But there was a point where my mother, father, and I, we were all on edge because we were all thinking that we were going to, one of us was going to kill ourselves. And there was a point where I tried to reach out to my parents, and they weren't answering. And my thought immediately went to, they ended their lives. And I remember running to my car, getting in, and starting to drive. And then I got a call from them. Suicide is no joke. People don't realize the background of how you start reacting. It's different than so many other deaths. I've medical conditions, accidents, stuff like that. I've seen that stuff. I've dealt with that stuff. I've never experienced this. This was different. And then from the spiritual aspect, because I grew up Lutheran Christian, as well as my brother, and I don't bring that stuff into my paranormal research. Obviously, that all my beliefs just shut off the moment I hit the research portion of it.
That's fair.
Yeah. When I was driving, I remember the day that Jeremy died, I cried out to God and I said, listen, I don't know what's on the other side. If there is another side or anything of that sort, I beg of you, please, if there has to be a consequence for what my brother did, don't send him down below. Please don't do that. If he has to have a punishment, let him experience our emotion and stay here. Have them help me with the research, and we'll, bring people, to showing the spirit realm exists and the possibility of God, stuff like that. Like, I was begging.
You're making a fucking deal with the maker, man.
But I said at the same time, I understand that with this, that if there's an agreement on this, that first off, I have to hold my end of the bargain, and secondly, that I expect to suffer as a result, that might be a consequence for me. And if so, because my reason was, and it was another thing I called out, my brother suffered in life because of depression and all that type of stuff, because of me opening my mouth. That's that part of kicking myself. I opened my mouth, and that was the start of him getting bullied. And I said, he doesn't deserve to suffer in the afterlife. So let me take the brunt of it. Let him rest. So it's really hard to put to words, because there's just so much. There's so much that came with it, and then the paranormal research and such like that. I had to be careful because, you get that subconscious bias when you start researching, because you want to finally get to the answer. And I had to remember that science is unbiased. And if I really wanted to figure this out, I had to become the most unbiased version of myself I've ever experienced, because I want to know that Jeremy still exists. And I want my parents to realize that he's not gone. You're going to see him again. But I also have to realize, from that unbiased perspective, there's that what if. What if he doesn't exist anymore? You have to ask some questions.
Real quick, she's an enchantress, a sorceress. She just gave me Samaya just gave me a reading, a very nice. She's someone that can cope with feelings. If you need someone, she's on the team too. She just signed last week.
Nice.
I reached out to her if you need. She talked about my mom passing away, man. I still fucking, and it sounds like that with your brother, man. But Samaya, yeah, she's giving you a shout out. That's cool, because she's a good shit.
Thank you so much.
I feel like,
hey guys, keep talking. I gotta go away for a second. I'll be
well, let's say we're over an hour, but if you don't mind, we can go to 8:30. We can go another 15 minutes if you don't mind, John. You're very fucking. I love that he was a podcast guest sometime, like guest host, like Thomas was, because you're very easy to talk to. You're very. Let's do a fun question while he's gone. Give me one of John Griffin's favorite go-tos for a movie. What's your favorite movie? Give me a couple, 2-3 movies of all time. Can be fiction, can be horror. I don't give a fuck. Can be romance. I don't care.
I mean, honestly, I like. It's a cult classic now. Is Dead Silence.
Oh, with the puppet, the ventriloquist.
Yes.
Oh my fucking god!
It was it was such a traditional ghost story.
18 people watching. Hey guys.
I loved the premise of it. It was simple, but yet they had a nice twist at the end. It was just a fun horror movie.
It was scary but funny. The ventriloquist, the dummy would be funny, but at the same time kind of freaky with the girl. Wow, no one's ever said that. That's a first. I get Halloween a lot. I get all the typical ones a lot. Give me a couple more for the fuck of it. Give me some fun ones.
Oh, fun ones.
Yeah, give me horror. I don't give a fuck. You like Rob Zombie horror movies?
No, I've been introduced to them.
I mean, we'll go either way.
Yeah, I've watched some of them. They've been very interesting. I noticed that he has a very specific style of filmmaking to it. So you don't even have to tell me it's a Rob Zombie movie, since I've seen some of the movies. If I see when I watch the actual movie itself, I could go, tell me this is a Rob Zombie movie.
See, I can see that you pick up you pick things up. You're obviously you're an investor. I don't know what to call you. I wanted to call you paranormal investigator, but well, he's almost like a paranormal scientist / paranormal educator. I'm like, what the fuck? How do you describe you? Like, what do I say?
So I'm a paranormal researcher. I've also been referred to as a paranormal scientist. The scientist portion of it actually came because I was originally working with a university professor from State University at Albany until he passed. He was a cognitive science researcher, and he actually, we have a video, the video of him supporting UINI research and myself, and he referred to me as a scientist. And I was truly honored to hear that from a very well respected professor.
Dude, you're on another field, John. I don't think you realize this. And nothing against anybody. Like Thomas is kind of a historian like me. He talks about fun, but you no one's like you. And what you're doing is something. I want to do a couple of fun questions real quick because I've been dying to ask. I really want to know, what's your bucket list, brother? Give me one for America and one for like the whole. There's got to be a place you want to go. Give me one for like England or whatever the fuck in America.
So, firstly, everyone brings something to the field, whichever category. It's all part of that puzzle, so to speak. You know,
absolutely.
Some of my bucket list. I won this in a contest from MadCon. I am gonna be going to
Ohio, baby,
for Madison Seminary. Looking forward to that. We're still going to schedule that. Waverly Hills, and I love castles. I want to get to England and some of those places. Yeah, Ireland. There's Jenny Sullivan.
And castles and shit. What's that castle that's got the well that's supposedly a gateway to hell in the basement? You ever hear about that, Thomas? There's a castle, I think, in England or Europe or someplace where there's a well in the basement, and they say it's the gateway to hell.
What is it? Something club or whatever that they had. Oh my God! You're killing
what the fuck's the name of it? It reminds me of Bobby McGee's. How they get the.
I don't know if that's the Hellfire Club or whatever. I think that's over in England and all that.
Look, dude, you know what's funny? Fucking Nate, bro. Another client, Nathaniel Elwood. I love you, Nate, dog.
Yeah, I got you, Nate.
Nate's gonna be doing a Paracon in New Hampshire, by the way. And John and Thomas, we got to talk about that after the show, maybe tomorrow when I'm on Buzz. But there'll be a para convention that Nate's doing in New Hampshire, and where all the clients are invited there first. So we'll get you guys on that. Waverly's on this dude's bucket list. Los Holland Island. Oh, so what about? Have you ever been to Maine, John? You been to my neck of the woods, New Hampshire, or Salem, Massachusetts? You been to New England?
Salem to visit. I've never done anything there. Maine, no, I have not actually been to that state yet. But yeah, you post all these pictures of all these famous sites from like from the movie, the Stephen King movies and stuff. And I'm like, why am I not
into that? Huh? Are you into that shit? You like horror movies and shit? You like Stephen King?
I'm picky.
Okay,
so
that's fair.
To me, it's a lot of these horror movies. They've lost their innovation. It's become more like jump scares. It's the same story, just with different people.
CGI bullshit. Yeah.
But that's why it's like I talk about these cult classics instead. Like that Dead Silence, where I'm like,
Thomas, you missed that. We're dropping movies. He was talking about. You seen Dead Silence with the puppets?
Yeah.
That one's different. And I've watched some movies that just focuses on the gore, and it's just like, but none of that stuff really has any impact on me. It's like, I love I love some, at least a decent story, some good acting,
like Pet Sematary you liked.
I did watch both the old one and the new one. So when the new one was coming out, I'm not going to say I had high hopes, because a lot of these remakes, I'm just like,
well, remakes suck. It's always
so
thank
you. Guys are killing me. So I'll tell you this. Before I got into the paranormal, the first existence of me for horror movies and all that, Stephen King, Salem's Lot.
Oh, yes.
I watched that with my sibling. My parents let us watch it. It was like live on, I think it was like CBS or something at the time. It was a 2-part series.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't sleep for weeks. If the wind blew and hit like something against the window, I'd shit my pants. It was just crazy. That vampire coming to the window. There's nothing like it, And I always tell them before, you read Stephen King, he could just say 3 words and scare the shit out of you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I would say, you fuckers come to my neck of the woods. I'll show you some good shit.
Hell yeah.
No, Salem's Lot. That was I remember watching that when I was younger. Absolutely loved it. The most famous scene to me was the one that you were describing with the kid at the window, just crawling at the window.
Fucking goosies, motherfucker! I got goosebumps on my ass now.
Can't get
I'm
better than
currently reading that
I
book.
think it was what is it? David Soul that was in that movie. He was in Starsky and Hutch. Just recently passed away. God bless him. But you know that what a great actor he was, and he did such a good job in that movie. But yeah, me growing up, I'm old. I don't know. I'm older than you guys, but
Oh, fuck
I
off. You're
remember.
always sharing. Oh, fuck
Yeah,
off.
Starsky and Hutch was a big thing for me growing up. I loved that fucking show with the red car with the red white stripes. Yeah, that.
Brandon, help me load Annabelle up on stage there. So, hey, while we're on this, I'm going to switch gears, but kind of keep it the same way. John, I don't see any of this, so I'm dying to know, brother. Where do you stand on that, man? Real life shit. Where do you stand on vampires, like cryptids, UFOs, aliens? You believe in that shit as well as demons and ghost shit? I don't know any of that.
So with the cryptids and stuff like that, I believe
Bigfoot.
So we're going to head into it because I kind of split things up. I've got my belief category and then my operations, or my so belief standpoint with the cryptics, I'm so darn neutral on it. I believe in the possibility of it, and that also goes with my research side too. So they're kind of both intertwined on that one. The UFOs, I'm a believer in it from a research standpoint. From a logical standpoint, it doesn't make sense that we would be alone. Now, are UFOs
the universe?
But at the same time, when you study how space travel would work and all that type of stuff, it's granted, let's say there's civilizations out there that are far more superior to us, have been out longer, stuff like that. Maybe they've tapped into the ability to be able to defy what scientists are talking about in when it comes down to how you would travel in space. I believe in the possibility of extraterrestrials visiting, and that there could be extraterrestrial beings. But all the evidence we ever see is very grainy. But at the same time, it's like UFOs, it's an unidentified flying object. That doesn't mean there's some extraterrestrial in the spacecraft.
That's fair.
It's
government, who knows?
I would like to think that Earth, out of a kajillion galaxies, is not the only one that is inhabited by a civilization.
But you haven't had a personal experience, so you haven't per se been walking and seeing a fucking.
I can't say that I've never had.
We'll get to you in a minute.
So the UFO, the second experience I'll talk about is actually very awkward. So the first experience, one of the first experiences I had, I saw what was a UFO above my house, my old house, the haunted one. And when I looked up, there was a green and red light, both separate. And that was it. It was just a green and red light, no sound, just there. And when I went in to grab my telescope, I came back out. It was gone. Now the weird. Wow. I remember waking up at midnight. The clock chimed. My brother and I, we had bunk beds. I was at the bottom bunk. I rolled over and I saw what looked like a gray alien standing next to my bed. It was wearing all
gray.
white.
Thomas lit right up. He knows what a gray is. Oh yeah, buddy.
He was a bit on the he, whatever, was a bit chubby. The eyes weren't as big as what I've seen portrayed on television shows, but it did have the big head. And it just said
8 on the 10 scale.
And then the weird part was that it went, this is all it did. It did beep, and then it disappeared.
Like literally vanished, like just
vanished. It vanished like a ghost. So, and I was awake. This was not a dream. I was awake. Now here's where it gets interesting. Years later, I met an intuitive who joined my prior team and is still a part of UINI research. He looked at me and he said, "You have 3 entities following you." And I was like, are they good? And he goes, oh yeah. He goes, oh yeah. And I go, okay, well, male, female, start going through the questions. So like 1 male, 1 female. And I go, well, you said 3. And he goes, yeah. And I go, is it a person? He goes, no. And I go, is it a gray alien? And he goes, yep. And he said you saw him in your bedroom.
Wow. What the fuck?
And I'm like, at that point, I asked him to join the team. I've never experienced, this person has never, because I've had so many people come up to me and go, oh yeah, my friend's a psychic, my mother's a psychic, my father's a psychic. I'm like, at this point, you know what? Everyone's a psychic. Why not?
Dime a dozen.
So it was just kind of like, I had to look at this and go, what just happened here? How am I supposed to explain that? And did I see a gray alien ghost?
I've heard theories that aliens are the future us and Bigfoot is the past us, and we're stuck in the middle. I've heard of that, like the whole Neanderthal thing.
I haven't heard the Bigfoot one. I heard the alien one, though.
Okay. Well, I've heard of that, too, that the aliens are basically, they have ghosts, they have the ancestors, they have, I don't fucking, and the government finally acknowledge it. Thomas, where do you stand on this alien shit? I mean, I watch videos on Area 51, people try to go and the white vans come out. And
we're looking at that. There is known to be billions of galaxies. Who's to say that we're alone?
Well, that's what John said. We're kind of naive to think, whoa, Earth is just...
We are naive. Right? We are naive, and there's so much stuff going on. Yeah.
Do you think that they're connected with paranormal?
I don't think we're alone. I don't think, I laugh about this. I always say to everybody, like, just knowing what we do with our social media, with our things like that. If aliens came to this earth and saw what we were doing, they'd probably roll up their windows and drive right past, That's,
dude, let's face it.
We're just so crazy in this world right now.
Yeah.
We need to lift ourselves up to a more vibration, a little bit higher, to figure out what's going on in this world, what's going on in our universe, what's going, just on that millions and millions of galaxies away.
Samai. Earth is ghetto as hell, Samai says.
Crazy.
Well, it's the way, like they could almost because their civilization, if they were here, going on longer than us, going under with that assumption, I'm sure if they saw what Earth was doing right now, they would go, oh, I remember when we did that too. We had our version of this social media and stuff like that. Oh yeah, you guys are in the junior high stage right now. Trust me, you'll get by it.
We are in the bloodletting.
Junior high stage right
bloodletting people. Bloodletting and laughing at ourselves.
Melon heads in Connecticut, we're behind them motherfuckers.
The melon heads. Oh, we're really diving deep into the rabbit hole.
Well, hey, I love that. You were going to be on co-host Diego's show, and it's got the rabbit throwing the chick down the hole. I go, that's fucking insane.
That's coming up. Dude, that Raph is fucking unbelievable. That dude is
client of mine. Dude, all my clients are my friends. It's like a family. Fuck this. I mean, we need to have a thing at Stephen King's filming site in Maine. Have you guys come up and let's just fucking terrorize it.
Yeah, that'll be a good time. I think all of us getting together, the scientific side of it, the paranormal side of it.
Can I spoil it?
Together, the Stephen King.
Can I say where it is?
Frame. It's you got to do it. You got to do it. I think
it's an 18. Okay, I talked to the guy and I told him 90% of the money will go to him to refix this place. It is the oldest sheep woolen mill in America. 1821 sheep woolen mill in Maine. It was where a Graveyard Shift was filmed by Stephen King when the rats and the big, huge bat killed them motherfuckers. And they have gravestones in the river. The fucking river's there. Let's go swimming in that motherfucker. Wow. And if I can get you guys there, it will be free of charge for my clients. And speaking of clients, I don't know if John knows her, but
Oh my god!
what up,
Hi.
Brooke?
There's a
Brooke's in the
Brooke
show.
was, dude, besides Donnie Green, the trucker and truck in Pet Cemetery, and of course me and Heather, my girl, Witch and Life Guide. Oh yeah, Brooke and Zach and Mama Lauren were the and Wildwood
You guys.
are my first clients. So welcome. They turned me on
Yeah.
to John.
Hey.
Fucking A, man. You think
Brooke,
Yeah.
I haven't seen you since the Warren Con. You're such an awesome
I know.
person.
Did
I
you
love
see it? Oh, I love you too. Did you guys see they posted the con for this year, and it's in Gettysburg?
Oh, really? Wow.
I've been to Gettysburg 3 times. I don't know if I want to be
Gettysburg's
buried
got
when I
so much
die in
fun
Gettysburg or
music.
Salem. It's either Gettysburg or Salem when I die. I don't know what, or New Orleans. I haven't been there yet. But fucking Gettysburg, no shit, Brooke. Really? Brooke hooked me up. She was like, here's this event. I go, Brooke, keep it up. You're going to be my assistant. You and Heather are going to be my 2 assistants. She's good, man.
Sounds
I tell
good.
you, fucking Wildwood Holistics, Wildwood Paranormal Crew, Wildwood Sanitarium, Metallica style.
Yeah.
Check them fuckers out. What a beautiful place. John spent many a night there. John is like, I mean, that's one of your. Oh
Oh yeah.
oops. What? I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry. What?
Oh, you still have it.
I got about
yeah,
and
look
it
at
just smells like that. And I hang them up at the local post offices.
Oh, awesome.
Scan it.
Yeah. You gotta do
Scan
it.
this,
You gotta do
fuckers.
it.
Brooke, you get a lot of people. And you've had the Kauai there, the Hawaiian dude. You've had Exploring with Josh. You've had so many people there. Lori's been there. Bree, one of my clients. Bree, that fucking chick's all over the place. But John is kind of your in-house paranormal dude, ain't he? Kind of, right?
Yeah. So we're in like a sponsorship kind of agreement thing. He pretty much comes whenever he wants and does all of his research, and we love when they visit. And I always tell people, like, if anyone's gonna prove if the paranormal is real, it's gonna be him and his team. I tell everyone that. So
well, my
we have
podcast
no
isn't
problem
for him. I had no one talking because everybody's sitting there. I got 21 viewers, and they're all going, you're talking to a stoner crew. You're fucking way advanced for my podcast, but I'll take it. You're my client. So you got to come on. It's part of your obligation.
Yeah.
But John is a smart shit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and yeah, I mean, we've been coming to Wildwood Sanitarium since 2018, and it was actually
wow.
It was my brother and I, and Reggie, actually the one that I just talked about with that story. He was the one.
Glidden?
Yep, Reggie Glidden.
He's been liking so much of my shit. I want to pat him on the head. I like him.
He is such a great person. We were the first 3 from UINI Research to come to Wildwood Sanitarium, and
Beautiful establishment.
it's such a great place. And Jeremy and I, when we talked about it on the way home, we wanted to go back, and this time we wanted to spend 2 days. So we pretty much within the week we booked. We contacted Lori, and we booked 2 days straight. Because one day was just not enough. We went to the Hinsdale house first, and then the next day we went to Wildwood. And there was just so much. First off, I mean, we hadn't met Brooke yet at that point. We were talking with Lori, and we were like, Lori is so fucking awesome. We talked about her on the way home, and we were saying we felt like she wanted to stay and research with us. Because she seemed like she was very slow walking out. And so Jeremy and I agreed that the next time we come there and, we meet up with Lori, we were going to ask her to stay if she wanted to stay with us. And so we did. And I saw her light up when we asked her. She did stay.
I love Mama. She's such a good spirit.
Wild Lori.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We call her Wild Lori.
Oh, she was on the show too. Oh, real quick, guys, we got another one coming on for the hell of it. Another client. This is Samai. She gave me a reading today from Samai's Golden Pyramid. What's up, girl?
Hey.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hello, everybody. Can you all
I
hear
don't mean
me?
to cut into John's time here, but fucking, I got no limit. It's 8:30. If you guys want to jump off, that's cool. But we got 21 people watching. If people want to watch, I must give them what they want, right?
Yeah. I have to do a TikTok live at 9. That's all I have going on. So.
Okay, we got about 25 minutes or so.
Yeah.
It's about to get
So
exciting for me because I'm going to be going door dashing right after this.
Oh, fucking door dashing. Oh, Katie Peak messaged me. I'm sorry, I'm listening at work, but I'll try another time. I love to come on with John. So I'll have you and Katie Peak come on sometime. She's at work.
Katie's so awesome. I love
Dude, the other
Katie's-
day, check it out. I DoorDash, right? Real quick.
Mhm.
So I go to this fucking pizza place, right? Or Dunkin' Donuts, rather. It's a donut place. You guys know Dunkin' Donuts? They have that
Yeah.
where you guys live?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a New England thing, but so I go there, right? It's fucking 2 bagels with chives with sides of guacamole or whatever. Not guacamole, but that green shit. Really, what's that green shit that's really good? What's that green
Guac.
stuff? That's really
Yeah, guac.
Guacamole, baby.
Okay. So it's that, dude. It's 6 donuts, 2 iced coffees, 4 muffins, and the guy wanted blueberry muffins, and all I had was chocolate chips. So he goes, cancel the whole order. I said, I already accepted it. I called DoorDash. She goes, keep it, right? So I keep the whole food. It's a $12 order, $12.31. I look at my DoorDash. I get $123.10. I go, cash out.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, buddy. Fucking
Yeah, that's
DoorDash. I
awesome.
fucking fucked you up. Yeah, you did. Thanks for the cash.
Yeah,
Fucking
heck
all this
yeah.
free food in dude, I had to leave my house for 10 feet to Dunkin' Donuts. I got kids. I came home. All this food and $123 instead of
Wow.
$12.30.
That's crazy.
Fucking DoorDash. The American dream, baby. Thanks for the free weed.
Oh my God.
But be safe because there's a lot of crazy assholes out there. But that was a fucking score. I probably shouldn't have said that because I'll probably get taxed now on it. But so where do you stand as one of your favorite haunted places? Is it Wildwood, John? Be honest.
Not Wildwood. Brooke, cover your ears. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
It is definitely Wildwood Sanitarium. It's when it comes down to the locations, it's always 2 things that really make a location great. First off, of course, the great owners, because we've come across, no names, where owners just they're a reason we don't come back. But the other one is the spirits that are at Wildwood. We ended up one of the things we like to do is we don't want to just go to a site once. We want to return and see if we can establish a rapport with some of the spirits, if not all of them there. Wildwood, they've worked with us. We have documentation of them helping us with experiments. Like if we ask, hey, we're going to do this, we'll turn it into a game or something like that. And then they're helping. We are able to go there and do different
The more they
things.
see them, the more they know you, your family. Oh, John,
Exactly.
yeah.
And so Wildwood, yes, is top on our list, and it's for those reasons. And it's no lie. I'm not exaggerating when I say that I've been there over 200 times.
I believe it.
The place is
Brooke's like,
amazing.
Yeah.
The other portion
he's
of
like
it
he's like your unofficial brother in a way.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
it's basically it's a place of healing. That's the big thing about it, is that people I've seen people get messages from their lost loved ones there. Jeremy came through crystal clear there. It was the first time we got him crystal clear.
Really?
Yep. And it was through Jeff Fent's spirit box. And now Jeremy knows that I could not stand spirit boxes.
Well,
Could not stand.
I gotta ask you. I gotta ask you all, and I'll start with Samai because you just jumped on. Do you believe that spirits can hang around these hospitals and sanatoriums? Would you believe saving cemetery? Some people say no, man. They don't hang. They hang around ice cream parlors in their family's house. But I believe some places can be haunted, like bad places, right? Samaya?
Yeah, I definitely think, especially hospitals are pretty damn haunted because, that is where people did die. And sometimes the spirits don't cross over because they are just Sometimes they don't even realize that they have passed or they still have unfinished business, so they just kind of hang around. So I definitely believe that.
Do you think that happens with suicide? If someone dies of cancer or say a heart attack or say a kid gets hit by a car and they feel like almost like Beetlejuice, like, oh, I can't believe we survived that crash. Fucking earthworms. They don't know they're dead. Do you think if you commit suicide, do you think possibly you could think that you're still on? You know what I mean?
Maybe not knowing that they're still on, but still being around. There's a lot of spirits that just don't cross over.
Family members.
They just are around.
There's an energy there. You can't kill fucking energy. You really can't. Brooke, what do you think about all this shit? I mean, it's deep, and I'm pretty fucking stoned, so maybe it's me, but I want to reflect. We get 21 people checking on, an hour and a half deep, for Christ's sake. I need to.
It's always you, Adam.
Keep it going.
You're always stoned.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm always
with like staying at locations and stuff. You got to think about too, like for these people, it was their home. I mean, that's where they spent a lot of time. That's where family came and visited them and everything. So that might be one of the only places that they kind of called home, or was kind of somewhat of a safe space for them. So I mean, I wouldn't doubt if they would
Radford,
stay
Virginia.
there. Mm-hmm.
St. Albans Sanatorium in Radford, Virginia. There was a serial killer there that killed some dude, and the dude was a Steelers fan. So you go in the basement, right? Check it out.
Mm-hmm.
This fucking place got cobwebs and spiders the size of fucking size of your fucking pecker. Those big fucking spiders. And you go down to the basement, and there's Steelers shit everywhere because the dude that got killed from the serial killer's fan. And then there's shock therapy tubs, and of course I laid in it, which I don't know is a bowling alley. But I mean,
wait a second, Adam. Did you say real killer?
This fucking guy. Well, you know what? I mean, okay. Here's a good question for everybody. We're not quite done with that one, but I'm rolling. We're all having fun. You want to leave? That's fine. But we got fucking 21 people watching, so fuck them. What do you think about like dark, like crazy shit, man? Like I like to go to serial killers and serial killers' victims' grave sites. The Boston Strangler, H.H. Holmes, shit like that. Is it bad? Like, who's to say what's fucking bad, John? Right? I mean, your version of evil is my version of okay or good, right? I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of I guess it goes more by societal standards on what we've been taught what good and evil is. So it's really hard to define it fully because there can always be some good and some some evil. Like we all do some bad things, some more than others, and then there's a lot of us who do really good things. And the other question to go with that, with where spirits exist and such, staying in locations and such, that's something that it depends on which direction we go to, because if you look at it from a intelligent consciousness related thing, scenario, and let's say hypothetically they know they've died, then first off, we don't know what's on the other side. We don't know if there's rules. We don't know if there's structure. We don't know any of that right now, at least.
Mm-hmm.
But for
right now,
but here's the thing: if they have intelligence, we can't dismiss their ability to potentially learn, because they have to, if they recognize that they're trying to move objects and do all these different things, appear, disappear, all that type of stuff, there may be a learning curve for them over there. We don't know that part either. And I don't think we can dismiss the intelligence portion of it, that they can, they're not simply just, at least I would hope that the afterlife isn't them just walking around or standing in a room and watching us sleep, because that's not very interesting. But, who says that they can't?
Kind of creepy, like a pedophile in a way. Like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Get a room.
But it's like, do they move? If they have intelligence, though.
But I told someone I was a ghost hunter.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Well, someone said to me, they go, "Well, ghosts don't have brains. We have the brain electricity. Ghosts don't have brains. Once you die, your brain dies. How the fuck can you be as one? And I thought to myself, well, that's a fucking hard one, right?
But we can't fully grasp consciousness though yet. We can't even explain that portion of it. So, you know, and that's an experiment that we've been doing. One of the experiments that we did last time we were at Wildwood, no, not the last time, but there were a few times before at Wildwood Sanitarium, we did an intelligence experiment. Do entities have the ability to learn? So we did an experiment where we asked them to take a look at something, see if they retained it. And I asked them the next day to see if they respond to it. What did they see? What did I do? What actions did I take? To see, one, if there's intelligence behind it, and number two, do they have the ability to learn? So, we still, and that's one of the things that Dr. John Foley was the person that we originally did research with. He was focusing on the nature of consciousness. He was focusing on primacy model of consciousness. We can't really just focus on just the brain itself, and I've often asked this question. I know this kind of goes with it, kind of doesn't. But I've been asking questions about my own consciousness. Like if I were to close my eyes right now and say I'm going to see through the eyes of Adam Began, and I open my eyes, I'm still seeing the eyes of John Griffin. And so it's kind of like, well, why is my consciousness existing? Why is my consciousness existing in this body? Why was this consciousness come into existence on August 4th, 1986 in the country, or in the United States, in the state of New York, in the city of Albany, at this specific time period? This consciousness stays here until it's gone, until it's out of this body. And it's the same with every other person, because like anybody who closes their eyes right now and says, I'm going to be John Griffin and I'm going to see through his eyes, your consciousness isn't doing that. You're going to open your eyes and you're still going to be that same person. You're just going to be about 30 seconds older, maybe, depending on how long you closed your eyes for.
Fuck. Samaya from Samaya's Golden Pyramid. This guy's a fucking mind trip. Ain't he just a fucking... Bruh. I smoked too much weed for this shit. I shouldn't have smoked anything.
Yeah, you did today.
This fucking guy's I ain't gonna sleep tonight. I'm gonna go back and watch this when it's done. Brandon, who's been a big star sender, this dude sent me like a lot of money in the last couple of weeks. He sends a bunch of stars, dude. I don't know if he realizes, but I appreciate your support. I helped him load up Annabelle at guess what? Where I met all of you at the Warren Con. Mohegan Sun. Tony Sparrow invited me personally as a guest, no cost to me. I was his guest. I went into the show and I met all y'all motherfuckers. I met Brandon. I met all you. I met Brandon there. We helped load up Annabelle on stage. I met Brooke right in front of Josh's stage. I saw Samai with her dick and penis candles. Amazing, like always. And everything else, not just that, but her the things that Danny Perez and Lauren Perez use. They're buying hearses like Monopoly style, by the way. Anyway,
I saw that. Yeah.
Holy shit, dude, bro! Have a hearse, guy. 5 for 2 people, killer. They're clients of mine as well. But you guys were all at work.
Yeah.
Like, even Thomas.
They have to have his and hers.
Well, of course, and now they're doing a rehearse rental. But all of y'all I met Thomas. I met John right off the elevator. Thomas and I had shots. I saw Samai's table. Amazing, like always, just like a golden goddess. Brooke's there with Zach, right in front of Josh the Explorer with John. We're shooting the shit, and that's where I got all my little handout stuff. So you guys know, you guys have all been around. You've all done your thing, but you're all very modest. You're not very gloaty. I don't think I'd have you as partners and shit in my group if I didn't like people, didn't trust people.
Hey.
I'm not going to just take money and just to hang out and be like, oh, I'm cool, right? Like, fuck that. I got to believe in my people. And I'm not going to kiss ass at people I don't trust and like. And you guys are all grade A in my book. You know that. Zach with his ghost hat on there, the Paracon. Jesus Christ. I wanted to take him home. Like, I got a hotel room. Here's my keys, Zach. Go wait for me. Okay, how about this? We're going to go around the room. We'll start with Samai. Ladies first. We'll go on the bottom, come up. We're going to milk it another 15 minutes. We're going to go 2 hours. We've had a lot of time with you guys. We're going to have you come back. I know in the future I got one of you guys booked. What do you guys see yourself doing this year? Where do you want to go? I know Brooke's been messaging me left and right, conventions. But personally, what do you guys see yourself? Samaya, you go first. What do you see yourself doing in 2024?
Working to really get myself out into the public more beyond just doing expos and doing readings, but getting on more
Fair.
podcasts actually is a really good way. Also,
I would be a co-host sometime, like Thomas.
yeah, definitely. Taking more classes, really pouring into myself, gaining extra knowledge and information because, you know, you can never learn enough. There's always more things that you can learn and understand. So,
Well put.
thank you.
So the other day, Samaya told me she joined on with the booking agency recently, and she makes her own candles. But she's more than that. She's an enchantress, a sorceress. She does readings, and she did a little spiritual thing with me for about an hour and a half or so the other day, almost 2 hours. And it was really nice, man. I lost a couple tears. I told her some truth, but I really appreciate that. I'm gonna make a post, and I appreciate what you've done. So check her out, Samaya's Golden Pyramid. That's her that's her name, not her Earth name. That's her chosen name.
Not my government. This is my magical name.
Fuck that, G-O-V motherfuckers. Brooke, what say you? You in Wildwood? I mean, you got your family. You're a mother. I get all that stuff. You're doing stuff. You're a wife. But where do you see yourself this coming year, girl? With everything, with your holistics group.
So I'm not doing like I might do a little bit more with the holistic stuff. I'm not doing a ton. I'm not focusing really on that this year. A big thing I want to do is write a book about Wildwood. I've been talking about this forever. I've been starting to kind of a little bit, but that's the beginning stages. Just kind of shooting some stuff around. A big goal for me for 2024 is to go to different locations. I want to, because people always ask me like, oh, have you been here, here, here? No, because I being so married to Wildwood, I don't get to go anywhere else. So
that's rough.
I finally have like a couple really nice ladies that I trust to open Wildwood for us, so we can go to different locations on the weekends and check it out. We'll be doing a lot of stuff with Bump in the Night Society. That's who I'm doing the TikTok live with after that. After this,
I'm in cahoots with them. I'm getting them some podcast guests, and they want me on too. They're Sean Bowman.
Yeah.
Shout out to
they're awesome.
This old lady Jen. She's a good shit. Brooke, Brooke, you're a go-getter, dude. You're on fire anyway with Paracon.
Yeah.
And this goes out to all of you. You're underneath my umbrella. You come to Maine by Bangor, Stephen King. You can crash on my fucking couch. We'll have s'mores by my fire. And we'll go check out some filming sites. Yeah. My age, you're my people. You're my brethren. You've trusted me. You have no idea, dude. Not to turn it on me, but I've gone through some shit. I contemplated suicide a couple years back. My mom died. I died, the whole nine. So to know people like me and trust me, and to know that I have you guys all on these beautiful faces staring at me, I owe you guys. You guys ever come out to Maine? Su casa me casa. But Brooke, so what do you see yourself doing?
I love you also.
Well, you know I appreciate you, Brooke. You and me talk all the time. Brooke's always like, heads up. I go, oh, can you message them? I go, fucking Brooke's got me on my toes. She's getting her money's worth. But I love it. That's what I'm for. My ADHD's like, fuck yeah.
My ADHD's been really bad the past week, so I'm all over the place. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this and this and this. So, John sees it in the group chats we have, like all over the place.
Oh, I love it. I love that you include me in that. And Samaya, you're liking everything in the group. John loves everything. You guys are so. Thomas is always sharing. Thomas has got like the biggest fucking heart and boner I've ever seen. So Brooke, so you see yourself in 2024. You see yourself traveling, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Or
that's kind of the goal. Yeah, I wanna go on spooky adventures. But I gotta tell you something too. I do want to hit Salem this year. That's like a big goal of mine. I want to tell you this little snippet that happened. So this past weekend, we went to Virginia for the Hanover Tavern Paracon.
And
it wasn't anything that happened at the actual Paracon, but at the hotel, the lady that was stocking the breakfast bar and everything, she kept looking at me while we were making breakfast and, eating and everything. And then I walked back up to grab milk or whatever, and she looked at me. She's like, "You look so familiar. Are you like on TV or something?" And I'm like, "Holy crap!" It like made me smile so much. It was so cute. And then she just got like so excited and she took a picture with me and stuff. So that like made my whole weekend. I thought that was so cool.
Dude, you saved a place from demolition. A historical building in New York that wasn't known. and your mother and you invested in this place, and it's your everything, and it's made the top 10 of many. I saw it. You shared it with me, the fucking magazine.
Yeah.
Don't have to be modest, bro.
Forbes magazine, yeah.
So you guys are all doing amazing. Thomas, what say you? 2024, what's it, the year of the Glorious Weirdo or what?
I don't know. I hope it's the year of the Glorious Weirdo.
Did a TV show shooting last night with Boston medium Scott Allen, who's also a client of mine. Not trying to brag. Historical Haunted Booking, motherfuckers, LLC.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of stuff here in 2024, and I'm just glad to share it with all of you. It's just the way of the paranormal. We have to move it forward. We have to do it in the right way, and
Positive way.
I'm glad that I get to take this ride with all of you.
You know how different all of you are right now? I
Yes.
mean, in a good way. So Maya's got her own beliefs, as well as obviously there's Christians, there's Satanists, there's atheists, there's whatever the fuck. But we all have a common purpose, and that's finding out what the fuck happens when we take our last breath. Am I right? I think that's the thing we all have in common. We want to know, we want to believe, and we want to show. And I think the paranormal is not just the bullshit. Some people like it as a weekend warrior thing. Oh, I went to Lizzie Borden's and I took pictures. Woo! But then there's people like us that are like, every day I'm researching shit. I'm YouTubing videos. I'm always, it's nonstop. You look at my fucking room and it's just paranormal and horror shit. Ouija boards made by Danny Perez. Oh, shout out to Danny, by the way, my girlfriend Heather. Witch and Life Guide. Hoping the Radicals will offer pet services in the future. Yeah, I heard Bulldog's not looking too good. She's getting older. She's got some lumps. She's got a big lump on her arm. Poor girl, Athena's guy. She's about 9. That's old for Bulldogs. What's up, Brandon? Appreciate you. I'm going to get you on a couple weeks too, Richmond. But yeah, so you see yourself doing that this year, Tom? I mean, you're doing this TV show yesterday with Scott. I can see you branching out, doing tours and doing your own thing anyway. You're very knowledgeable, Tom.
Yeah, you know, I try and put the paranormal in the right way and get the information out there. And I just want people to learn, you know, the paranormal in the right way. And I'm just so grateful for people recognizing that. And, Dark Echoes and what we're doing and pushing the paranormal in a different way, and the reality of it. It's just so great. And, you know, John, what you know, what you guys are doing, and unbelievable. So, you know, I'm just so glad that I'm here co-hosting tonight. All the people that are on tonight, pushing the paranormal in the right way. It's amazing. Great.
It's all different offers, man. You're the historian. John's the scientist. Brooke's like the expert tourist. Fucking Samai's like the crafty witch. And I'm just the stoner in the corner asking the questions. Bring it all around it, man.
We're all together.
That's what makes a good sandwich. If it was just piles of fucking lettuce, it would suck. But you need your tomato, you need your onion, you need your fucking
Your pickles.
John, what say you? 2024, motherfucker. I know you just like me. You get depressed. Sometimes you get a little bit like, fuck it, I'm gonna hang it all up. I wear a lot of hats too. My tour thing. I've done this tour thing for 8 months. I've only had one client. Some people go, I'll come to me. I don't take the tour, but no one does. So it's like, do I hang it up or do I say, fuck it? But where do you see yourself, man? You're doing a convention that's going to be like no other convention. You're doing research that no one does, man. Where do you see yourself this year, brother? Don't leave me hanging.
Yeah, so no, I'll never say fuck it when it comes down to research. You know, I've been researching for, you know, in the field itself for 21 years, and I'm not going anywhere.
You're so sexy.
I'll describe 2020. I'll describe my mission in 2024 in 3 words: disrupting the paranormal.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Okay.
Finally, someone's putting the fucking spoke in the wheels of the tire. That is this ugly thing we call the paranormal unity. Makes me fucking sick. I want to puke. It's too much. It's phony baloney, John. What you're doing, what Brooke's doing, what Samaya's doing, all of us motherfuckers are doing is different. This guy smokes weed and swears. Yeah, I do. Yeah, guess what? I get paid by a guy that was in the Stephen King movie. He pays me $500 to sponsor me for a year, and I smoke weed and swear. So suck it sideways. Fucking corporation, man. We're all doing it our own ways. That's what I love about you crazy fucks. We got 5 minutes to go. They're gonna kick me out.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop off so I can get ready for the live. So go watch us on Book of the Night Society in 5 minutes.
Yes, and Lauren's on Cryptid right now. I'm cutting into her time. Lauren, before you go, not Lauren, I'm sorry, Brooke, before you go, where can people find Wildwood? Name drop some shit, then go.
Well, wildwoodsanitarium.com is where you can make a booking. And we only have like 20 Saturdays left for the entire year now. I got like 5 bookings just today. So 20 Saturdays left for the entire year. And then obviously like my Facebook page, you can find my name, Brooke Bristol, on Facebook. That's the best way to be updated about everything.
My fucking clients are go-getters. All right, girl, go do your thing. Thanks for jumping on.
Listen, you guys. Soon. Bye.
God, I love my client. Samaya, anything before we go, Samaya? I know it's short. You came on for a little bit. I appreciate the reading. Where can people find your stuff and all your good stuff? Because it was worth it. Where can people find you to book you?
They can actually find me here on Facebook under Samaya Eldrath, SAMAIA ELDRAATH. You can send me a message and then we can just set up a time for a reading. And you know what? Honestly, I'm really glad that I was able to connect with you that way because it was very important.
It was deep, man. I lost some tears. I lost some ghosts, but I slept like a baby last night, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I slept really good, man. I was like fucking drained because I let out a lot of demons. So thank you for your time. It was really awesome. I suggest anybody go to you for not just your goods that you peddle, but I think your services that you offer. So, and thanks for coming on so late. I'm sorry to just come on for 20 minutes, but I appreciate your time.
It's no problem. Thank you for having me on.
So much, Samaya. Thomas, Glorious Weirdo, where can people find you, my brother?
I'm all over the place.
Yes, fucking for sure. If you're not doing tours in Connecticut, you're doing fucking shows in Pennsylvania.
I'm all over the place.
You're just on TikTok. You don't really have a Facebook page. It's just your TikTok, right? I mean, but it's personal.
Yeah, TikTok, Archangels of the Paranormal. Facebook, Thomas Patrick Gormley. Instagram, Arcane.
Serial Killer Tuesdays. Learn some facts about some nutty motherfuckers that kill people on Tuesdays. I share the fuck out of it. It's pretty wild.
Oh, hell yeah, man. I appreciate that very much. Doing the
You're one of the ones that share people's shit back. You thank people. You share their shit, man. You're a good dude, Dom.
I love you guys. But, Wednesdays I do the... Word Origins, and then I do the Thursdays I do the Weird Facts and Facts Connecticut.
Oh, you're a mind fuck. You're pretty much a rapist. I watch your videos.
A lot of history, craziness.
It makes me think like, what the fuck did I just do to my brain, bro? I don't know where you get your shit. It's pretty knowledgeable. You come up with these facts, and you're like, oh, this guy used to eat livers with a bottle of Chianti, but he made a nice shoe in prison. I'm like,
hell yeah, man. I'm all about going on the rabbit hole. So,
yeah, you ain't shitting. John.
I'll fuck with your brain if I have to.
Oh, you owe me a fucking pregnancy test and about $500, motherfucker. I'll tell you that.
Love it. Love it.
John, you're all over the place. UINI Research, you are Paranormal Academy, the Path to Communication. Am I right? John Griffin II. Mm-hmm. Isn't anything? You on YouTube?
Yes. And we're under Paranormal Puzzle, but if you look up the Path to Communication, episode 1, Wildwood Sanitarium, it'll lead you to our channel. And we do have something going on that if we reach 1,000 views on that episode, as well as 200 channel subscribers, we will release episode 2. We currently do have we have shut down our production division for now due to funding. But if we do see that people really want this, we will put out the second episode. We do have a trailer that we just released for the episode 2, The Griffin Residence, where Jeremy did take his life.
That was Samaya's table. That's good. And that's what I like. I like that you do in honor of your fallen brother, literally. And I like that you're there every day. You're doing shots of wine at Christmas. That means a lot to me because my, I'm big into that. We got about a minute to go. Anybody want any last words before I pull the switch?
It's actually Welch's grape juice. Jeremy used to pretend.
Oh,
when he was
really?
A kid, he used to pretend he was getting drunk off of Welch's grape juice when he was younger.
Hey, like
So
me
that-
and Samai said, mind over matter. If I think I'm going to get drunk, I'm going to have loopy goopy. This will be on Historically Haunted on the YouTube channel tomorrow. I want to say thank you so much to my sponsor, Johnny Green. I want to thank you so much to Green Logistics. I want to thank Donnie Green, the actor. I want to thank fucking all my sponsors, Alexis Aaron, Alexis Candle by Alexis, John Griffin II. Check him out, guys. Sponsor him. UINI, research, and their Patreon page. So many others. Samaya's Golden Pyramid, Thomas Patrick Gormley, the Archangel of Paranormal, Adam, the Historian Ghost Hunter, rocking the Bears. Thank you guys for tuning in next week. I forget who my guest is. Just fucking tune in. Love you guys. Have a good night.